All right, in a new court filing, the Department of Justice argued the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program should go forward. This is all while a challenge brought by several Republican-led states still plays out. Last week, an appeals court temporarily halted the president's program from processing those forgiveness applications, but that doesn't mean there's a pause on taking those applications. So if you haven't applied for the student loan forgiveness program, you need to do that so that you might be able to even get paid by the end of the year.
Based on the fact that the Department of Ed has said that if you apply by November, the middle of November, that it will be processed by the time payments resume in January, I think that gives us a sense that they're looking at around a 45-day window to process these.
All right, so that despite the pause, officials are encouraging you to apply now. With so many questions surrounding the loan forgiveness plan, we're bringing on our expert, Betsy Mayotte from freestudentloanadvice.org, and she's going to take your text questions. And so this is what happens. 336-379-5775 is the number there, so that you can text in your question. Now, your question is anonymous, but you get your question answered in real time. All right, let's start with who qualifies for the debt cancellation.
Great question. So the short answer is if you have federal student loans and those loans have been eligible for the COVID pause, meaning you haven't been due for payment since March of 2020 and you've been enjoying a 0% interest rate, then your loans are potentially eligible for this broad debt relief.
Okay, and so you've got the 10 to 20,000, right, are the caps, and then you have to only make a certain amount of money to be able to have this loan forgiveness.
Right. So if you're a single person or you file your taxes as married filing separately, your maximum income for either 2020 or 2021 is an adjusted gross income of no more than $125,000. That jumps to $250,000 for married couples. And just to be clear, you can be over one of those years and still qualify as long as your income was under those caps in either 2020 or 2021, then you potentially qualify, assuming your loans are eligible.
Yeah, and that is really key. So 2020 or 2021, you can use your 1099. So you can look at your IRS form, correct? Your 1040, and look and see what your AGI was, your adjusted gross income, not what you think you're taking home every single year, but actually what you reported to the IRS.
That's exactly right. Your 1040 is where to go to check what your adjusted gross income is.
Okay, and so you might be pleasantly surprised that you fall underneath that cap of 125 or whatever, so that you are able to take in on this. All right, so we've got a 10,000, we've got a possible 20,000. The 20,000 is for those who received a Pell Grant. What if they're not really sure if they received a Pell Grant?
So we get a question about this often. So the first thing I want to say is it doesn't matter when you got the Pell Grant. You could have gotten the Pell Grant 30 years ago, but you took your loans out 2 years ago. You'd qualify for the 20 grand. The place to look to see if you ever did get a Pell Grant is www.studentaid.gov, which is the Department of Education's website. Now, there is a PS to that. If you did get your Pell Grant before 1994, it's not going to show up to you at studentaid.gov, but trust me, the feds do have that information.
All right, and we're already getting questions. This person's asking, can you explain a student loan? Is this for private loans?
So this is a tough question to answer in a quick fashion. If it's a true, honest-to-goodness private loan, so say the lender is Wells Fargo or Discover or SoFi or Earnest or Laurel Road, then those loans are not eligible for this debt relief. Even if it was used to pay off a federal student loan, it's not eligible. But there's a type of loans called Federal Family Education Loan Program loans that were the primary federal loan program back before 2010. Some people call those private loans when they are actually federal. If that loan is being held by the Department of Education, then it's eligible. If it's not, then it's not.
And you'll know that by going to studentaid.gov?
You can find that out by going to studentaid.gov and seeing who the lender is. But again, the easy way to know if your loan is eligible for this, have your payments been paused since March of 2020? If the answer is yes, the loan is eligible.
That's a good way to do it. All right, now, speaking of that pause since 2020, there have been some folks who decided they were going to still pay on their loan so that they could kind of keep up. And what happens if they paid on their loan and they got underneath that $10,000 or $20,000 that's now going to be paid for? They can get a refund. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, the refund aspect of this is really great. So if you paid your loans during the COVID pause, so any payments made since March of 2020, and you paid your loan down below the threshold of what you're eligible for in forgiveness, but didn't pay it off, you don't have to do anything beyond apply for the debt relief. They will automatically send you a refund for the difference. Now, if you got really aggressive with your loans and paid them off during the COVID pause, you do have to call your loan servicer and ask for the refund and ask them to reopen the loans.
Okay, so you only have to ask them to reopen the loan to get your refund if you have totally paid it off, but you're saying it should be automatic if you had just paid it down a few thousand or so.
Yeah, so let me give you an example. Let's say before the COVID pause started, you owed $20,000. During COVID, you paid down $5,000. So today you only owe $15,000. All you have to do is apply for the debt relief. If you received a Pell Grant and are eligible for the 20 grand, they're going to pay off the 15 you owe and send you a check from the U.S. Treasury for that 5 grand you paid during COVID.
Oh, really? So that is how the refund's going to happen. They're going to send you a check just like you would get like an IRS refund.
Right. Now, in some cases, it'll go directly to your bank account. It all depends on whether the Treasury has your bank account information or not.
Okay, so there's still a few things there in flux. All right, we're going to take a quick break. What we want you to do is continue to text us your questions to 336-379-5775, and we'll be right back.